Hello, welcome to day of reading through the Bible. I'm Toni Henderson-Mayers. I'll be your reader. I'm known as an actor, a director, producer, professor, but most important, I'm a child of God. And I'm also known as an entrepreneur too, as well. If you want to know more about me, join my Toni Henderson-Mayers YouTube channel. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe and ring the notification bell for that channel and this one so you'll know every time I upload a new video. So, you ready to read God's word? Let's go. Okay, we're going to read Nehemiah 11 through 13, and then we're going to go to Psalm 126. Let's read. Okay. The new residents of Jerusalem. Now, the leaders of the people settled in Jerusalem. The rest of the people cast lots to bring one out of every 10 of them to live in Jerusalem, the holy city, while the remaining 9 were to stay in their own towns. The people commended all who volunteered to live in Jerusalem. These are the Levitical leaders who settled in Jerusalem. Now, some Israelites, priests, Levites, temple servants, and descendants of Solomon's servants lived in the towns of Judah, each on their own property in the various towns, while other people from both Judah and Benjamin lived in Jerusalem. From the descendants of Judah. Okay, let's see. Attaniah, son of Uzziah, the son of Zechariah, the son of Amariah, the son of Shephatiah, the son of Mahaliel, a descendant of Perez, and Messiah, son of Baruch, the son of Kol-Hoseth, the son of Haziah, the son of Adiah, the son of Jairib, the son of Zechariah, a descendant of Shelah. The descendant of Perez, who lived in Jerusalem, totaled 468 men of standing. Okay, y'all pray for my eyes now. From the descendants of Benjamin, Shalu, son of Meshullam, the son of Joed, the son of Padiah, the son of Koliah, the son of Maaseiah, the son of Ithiel, the son of Jesiah, and his followers, Gabai and Shalai, 928 men. Joel, son of Zikri, was their chief officer, and Judah, son of Hashuna, and over the new quarter of the city, was over the new quarter of the city. From the priests, Jediah, the son of Joirib, Jachin, Sariah, son of Hilkiah, the son of Mesullam, the son of Zadok, the son of Meroth, the son of Ahitub, the official in charge of the house of God, and their associates who carried on work for the temple, 822 men. Adiah, son of Jeroham, the son of Peliah, the son of Amzi, the son of Zechariah, the son of Pashur, the son of Malchijah, and his associates who were heads of families, 242 men. Amashai, son of Azarel, the son of Ahzai, the son of Meshilemoth, the son of Emer, and his associates who were men of standing, 128. Their chief officer was Zabdiel, son of Haggedolim. From the Levites, Shemaiah, son of Hashub, the son of Azrikam, the son of Hashabiah, the son of Bani, Shabbatai, and Zoabad, two of the heads of the Levites who had charge of the outside work of the house of God. Mattaniah, son of Micah, the son of Zabdi, the son of Asaph, the director who led in thanksgiving and prayer. Back Bukiah, second among his associates, and Abda, son of Shemoah, the son of Galal, the son of Jeduthun. The Levites in the holy city totaled 284. The gatekeepers, Akub, Talman, and their associates who kept watch at the gates, 172 men. The rest of the Israelites, with the priests and Levites, were in all the towns of Judah, each on their own ancestral property. The temple servants lived on the hill of Ophel, and Zihah and Gishpa were in charge of them. The chief officer of the Levites in Jerusalem was Uzziah, son of Bani, the son of Hashabiah, the son of Mattaniah, the son of Micah. Uzziah was one of Asaph's descendants who were the musicians responsible for the service of the house of God. The musicians were under the king's order, who regulated their daily activities. Pethaniah, son of Meshabel, one of the descendants of Zerah, son of Judah, was the king's agent in all affairs relating to the people. As for the villages with their fields, some of the people of Judah lived in Kerith Arba and its surrounding settlements, in Dibon and its settlements in Jek, Jekabzeel and its villages, in Jeshua, in Moladath, in Beth Pelet, in Hazar Shul, in Beer Sheba and its settlements, in Ziklag, in Mikona and its settlements, in On Rimmon, in Zorah, in Jarmuth, Zanoah, Abdullam, and their villages, in the Kish and its fields, and in Azekah, and its settlements. So they were living all the way from Beersheba to the valley of Hinnom, yeah. The descendants of the Benjamites from Geba lived in Milkmash, Ahijah, Bethel, and its settlements, in Ananoth Nob, and Ananiah, in Hazar, Ramah, and Gittim, in Hadid, Zeboam, and Nebalit, in Lod and Ono, and in Ge Harashim. Some of the divisions of the Levites of Judah settled in Benjamin. Priests and Levites. Come on, guys. These were the priests and Levites who returned from Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, and with Joshua. Shariah, Jeremiah, Ezra, Amariah, Melech, Hattush, Shechaniah, Rehum, Mermoth, Iddo, Ginnathon, Abijah, Mijamin, Moadiah, Bilgah, Shemaiah, Jorib, Jediah, Shalu, Amok, Hilkiah, and Jeliah. These were the leaders of the priests and their associates in the days of Joshua. The Levites were Jeshua, Benura, Benaiah, Benaiah, um, Kadmiel, Sherebiah, Judah, and also Mattaniah. who together with his associates was in charge of the songs of thanksgiving. Bakbukiah and Anai, their associates, stood opposite them in the services. Joshua was the father of Joachim, Jehoiakim, the father of Elishahib, Elishahib, the father of Joiada, Joiada, the father of Jonathan, and Jonathan, the father of Jaddua. In the days of Joachim, these were the heads of the priestly families of Shariah's family, Mariah of Jeremiah's, Hananiah of Ezra's, Meshullam of Amariah, Jehoiathan of Mount, my eyes, I can't really see. Is that Maluk's? Jonathan of Shechaniah's, Joseph of Harim's, Adnah of Merimoth, Helkai of Iddu, Zechariah or Ginnethon's, Meshullam of Abijah, Zichri of Minimin's, and of Mediah's, Piltai, Pital, of Bilgah's, Shemua, of Shemaiah, Jenothan, of Zoarib's, Mattanai, of Jedediah's, Uzai, of Shalu, Kalal, of Amok's, Ever, of Hilkiah, Hashabiah, of Jediah, Nathaniel, the family heads of the Levites in the days of Elishib, Joadiah, Jonathan, and Jaddua, as well as those of the priests, were recorded in the reign of Darius the Persian. The family heads among the descendants of Levi, up to the name of Jehohanan, son of Elishib, were recorded in the book of the Annals. And the leaders of the Levites were Hashabiah, Sherebiah, Jeshua, son of Kadmiel, and their associates who stood opposite them to give praise and thanksgiving, one section responding to the other as prescribed by David, the man of God. Mattaniah, Bakbukiah, Obadiah, Meshullam, Talman, Akub were gatekeepers who guarded the storerooms at the gates. They served in the days of Joachim, son of Joshua, the son of Zoadak, and in the days of Nehemiah, the governor, and of Ezra, the priest, the teacher of the law. Dedication of the Wall of Jerusalem. At the dedication of the wall of Jerusalem, the Levites were sought out from where they lived and were brought to Jerusalem to celebrate joyfully the dedication with songs of thanksgiving and with their music of cymbals, harps, and lyres. The musicians also were brought together from the region around Jerusalem, from the villages of the Nepholites, from Beth Gilgal, and from the area of Geba and Arm-Aveth. For the musicians had built villages for themselves around Jerusalem. When the priests and Levites had purified themselves ceremonially, they purified the people, the gates, and the wall. I had the leaders of Judah go up on the top of the wall. I also assigned two large choirs to give thanks. One was to proceed on top of the wall to the right toward the dung gate, Hoshiah, and there and half the leaders of Judah followed them, along with Azariah, Ezra, Meshullam, Judah, Benjamin, Shemaiah, Jeremiah, as well as some priests with trumpets. And also Zechariah, son of Jonathan, the son of Shemaiah, the son of Mattaniah, the son of Micaiah, the son of Zachor, the son of Asaph, and his associates, Shemaiah, Azrael, Milalai, Gilalai, Maai, Nathaniel, Judah, and Hanai, with musical instruments prescribed by David, the man of God. Ezra, the teacher of the law, led the procession. At the fountain gate, they continued directly up the steps of the city of David on the ascent to the wall and passed above the site of David's palace to the water gate on the east. The second choir proceeded in the opposite direction. I followed them on top of the wall, together with half the people, past the tower of the ovens to the broad wall, over the gate of Ephraim, the Jeshanah gate, the fish gate, the tower of Hanuel, Hanel, and the Tower of the Hundred. As far as the sheep gate at the gate of the guard, they stopped. The two choirs that gave thanks then took their places in the house of God. So did I, together with half the officials, as well as the priests, Elkakim, Messiah, um, Menahem, Micaiah, Elonai, Zechariah, and Hananiah with their trumpets, and also Messiah, Shemaiah, Eleazar, Uzai, Jehonahan, Malchijah, Elam, and Ezer. The choir sang under the direction of Zerahiah. And on that day, they offered great sacrifices, rejoicing because God had given them great joy. The women and children also rejoiced. The sound of rejoicing in Jerusalem could be heard far away. At that time, men were appointed to be in charge of the storerooms for the contributions, first fruits, and tithes from the fields around the towns they were to bring into the storehouses the portions required by the law for the priests and the Levites, for Judah was pleased with the ministering priests and Levites. They performed the service of their God and the service of purification, as did also the musicians and gatekeepers, according to the commands of David and his son Solomon. For long ago, in the days of David and Asaph, there had been directors for the musicians and for the songs of praise and thanksgiving to God. So in the days of Zerubbabel and of Nehemiah, all Israel contributed the daily portions for the musicians and the gatekeepers. They also set aside the portion for the other Levites, and the Levites set aside the portion for the descendants of Aaron. Chapter 13. Nehemiah's final reforms. On that day, the book of Moses was read aloud in the hearing of the people, and there it was found written that the Ammonite or Moabite should ever be omitted. On that day, the book of Moses was read aloud in the hearing of the people, and there it was found written that no Ammonite or Moabite should ever be admitted into the assembly of God, because they had not met the Israelites with food and water, but had hired Balaam to call a curse down on them. Well, well, well. Our God, however, turned the curse into a blessing. When the people heard this law, they excluded from Israel all who were of foreign descent. Before this, Eliashib, the priest, had put in charge of the storerooms of the house of our God. He was closely associated with Tobiah, and he had provided him with a large room formerly used to store the grain offerings and incense and temple articles, and also the tithes of the grain. New wine and olive oil prescribed for the Levites, musicians, and gatekeepers, as well as the contributions for the priests. But while all this was going on, I was not in Jerusalem, for in the 32nd year of Artaxerxes, king of Babylon, I had returned to the king. Sometime later, I asked his permission and came back to Jerusalem. Here I learned about the evil thing Elisha had done in providing Tobiah a room in the courts of the house of God. I was greatly displeased and threw all Tobiah's household goods out of the room. I gave orders to purify the room, and then I put back into them the equipment of the house of God with the grain offering and the incense. I also learned that the petitions assigned to the Levites had not been given to them, and that all the Levites had musicians responsible for the service had gone back to their own fields. So I rebuked the officials and asked them, "Why is the house of God neglected?" Then I called them together and stationed them as at their post. All Judah brought the tithes of grain, new wine, and olive oil into the storerooms. I put Shelemiah, the priest, Zadok the scribe, and a Levite named Pedaiah in charge of the storerooms, and made Hanan, son of Zakur, the son of Mattaniah, their assistant, because they were considered trustworthy. They were made responsible for distributing the supplies to their fellow Levites. Remember me for this, my God, and do not blot out for what I have so faithfully done for the house of my God and its services. In those days, I saw people in Judah treading winepress on the Sabbath and bringing in grain and loading it on donkeys together with wine, grapes, figs, and other kinds of food. And they were bringing all this into Jerusalem on the Sabbath. Therefore, I warned them against selling food on that day. People from Tyre who lived in Jerusalem were bringing in fish and all kinds of merchandise and selling them in Jerusalem on the Sabbath to the people of Judah. I rebuked the nobles of Judah and said to them, "What is this wicked thing you are doing? This desecrating the Sabbath day. Didn't your ancestors do the same things so that our God brought all this calamity on us and on this city? Now you are stirring up more wrath against Israel by desecrating the Sabbath." When evening shadows fell on the gates of Jerusalem before the Sabbath, I ordered the doors to be shut and not open until the Sabbath was over. I stationed some of my own men on the gates so that no load could be brought in on the Sabbath day. Once or twice, the merchants and sellers of all our kinds of goods spent the night outside Jerusalem. But I warned them and said, "Why do you spend the spend the night by the wall? If you do this again, I will arrest you." From that time on, they no longer came on the Sabbath. Then I commanded the Levites to purify themselves and go and guard the gates in order to keep the Sabbath day holy. Just need a piece of paper. Remember me for this also, my God, and show mercy to me according to your great love. Moreover, in those days I saw men of Judah who had married women from Ashdod, Ammon, and Moab. Half of their children spoke the language of Ashdod or the language of one of the other peoples and did not know how to speak the language of Judah. I rebuked them and called curses down on them. I beat some of the men and pulled out their hair. I made them take an oath in God's name and said, "You are not to give your daughters in marriage to their sons, nor are you to take their daughters in marriage for your sons or for yourselves." Was it not because of marriages like these that Solomon, king of Israel, sinned? Among the many nations, there was no king like him. He was loved by his God, and God made him king over all Israel. But even he was led into sin by foreign women. Must we hear now that you too are doing all this terrible wickedness and are being unfaithful to our God by marrying foreign women? One of the sons of Joiada, son of Elishib, the high priest, was son-in-law to Sanballat the Horonite, and I drove him from away from me. Remember them, my God, because they defiled the priestly office and the covenant of the priesthood and of the Levites. So I purified the priests and the Levites of everything foreign and assigned them duties, each of his own tasks. I also made provision for contributions of wood, of designated tithes, wood at designated tithes, and for the first fruits. Remember me with favor, my God. Okay, we're going to skip over to Psalm 126. And I do apologize, guys. My eyes are very blurry, but I was determined to press on. Psalm 126, a psalm, a song of ascents. When the Lord restored the fortunes, when the Lord restored the fortunes of Zion, we were like those who dreamed. Our mouths were filled with laughter, our tongues with songs of joy. Then it was said among the nations, the Lord has done great things for them. The Lord has done great things for us, and we are filled with his joy. Restore our fortunes, Lord, like streams in the Negev. Those who sow with tears will reap with songs of joy. Those who go out weeping, carrying seed to sow, will return with songs of joy, carrying sheaves with them. May the Lord add a blessing to the reading and hearing of his holy word. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you know every time I upload a new video. Guys, I am so sleepy. I am so tired. Today is Sunday. I had to sing at both services, and I left a little early on the second service. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little tired. And I'm just exhausted today, but I feel good. I feel good, just a little exhausted. But we finished out the book of Nehemiah today, and we bounced over to Psalm. And as you know, we're reading the chronological read through the Bible. So we're reading in the way things happen. So that's why you saw some of these names that I was saying, even though I was sleepy and my eyes were blurry. But some of the names sounded familiar because we bounced around. We read one time from the King's versions or just the person who wrote the book's version. But then we got to Ezra and Nehemiah, and we read things from their versions. And of course, from the leaders, the religious leaders too, what happened with them. Okay, so with all that being said, we ended on yesterday talking about the agreement of the people after they had sinned and they turned from their ways. They were making an agreement or a covenant with the Lord. And then it started off in chapter 10. I mean, ended in chapter 10 last time we read with them sealing it. Okay. Nehemiah leading the charge as the governor, he's sealing it. Then all of the priests, then the Levites, then the gatekeepers, the leaders of the people, and then the people. Okay. Levites, etc., etc. All these people sealed it. So we start off in chapter 11 saying the new residents of Jerusalem. So there were certain ones who were going into Jerusalem to live. The rest were going to stay where they were. And if you have not read this already, those who've been reading, you're like, what are you talking about? We just read it. But at some point, this is going to be chopped up for just reflections. And this will give some people, I think I'm going to read that chapter. That sounds pretty good. So that's what I'm hoping by giving kind of like a summary to as well. But so certain people were selected to live in Jerusalem, okay? And then the priests and the Levites get into chapter 12. Um, they talked about the priests and Levites who returned from Zerubbabel, and with Joshua, okay? And so those were listed as well. And then we went through the dedication of the wall of Jerusalem. And this just shows you that when you build something, when you achieve something, when you buy a new home or whatever, it's just so wise to like dedicate that to the Lord. Because if it had not been for God being so good to you, you would not have it. And so yet they're dedicating this wall. They worked hard to get this wall built under the direction of Nehemiah, who had this urge to rebuild the wall of Jerusalem, but they are now dedicating that to the Lord. And then Nehemiah's final reforms, okay? He tweaking the livelihoods, the things that he see that is not right. He's tweaking that, trying to get people right. Okay, if they sinned, honey, he gonna point out the sin and rectify it so they can be made right with the Lord. And in between that, he says, please remember me, Lord. For let's see, chapter 13, verse 14. He says, remember me for this, my God, and do not blot out what I have so faithfully done for the house of my God and its services. And why is my eyes much better now? You see what I'm saying? Y'all pray. But anyway, he would repeat this or something similar to that after he has restored things and got things back in order. And of course, he ends the whole book of Nehemiah with, remember me with favor, my God. Okay. Because he had done a lot. For God's people in Israel, and his calling was very different from those others, right? Some were called to prophesy completely, and the prophets were all different. They were all different. And by the way, Nehemiah is listed in the historical books. I'm not sure if I said that prior. He's in the historical books, okay? And so he's not necessarily called in the same way as others have been called, but he's called to rebuild this wall. And he's more of a man of business, right? An organization. And so this speaks to those who may say, I'm not a preacher, I'm not a missionary, but there's something that God is placing on your heart to do and you ought to be faithful. And when that's done, you can say, God, remember me with favor. Okay. And then we skipped over to not chapter, but Psalm 126. And it's a song of ascents, thanking God for restoring the fortunes of Zion. Thanking God that their mouths are filled with laughter, their tongues are filled with joy, and recognizing that God has done great things for them, and talking about when you get down to I don't know, verse 5, those who sow with tears will reap with joy. Verse 6, those who go out weeping, carrying seed to sow, will return with songs of joy, carrying sheaves with them. Sure. It kind of reminded me of Ecclesiastes in one way, that there's a time and place for everything. And you may sow in sorrow, but you're going to reap in joy. And certainly that was the situation in Nehemiah's case and for the people of Israel. So make sure you visit me on my website, which is www.ToniHenderson-Mayers.com. We're getting so close to getting to 3/4 of the way done of reading through the Bible. Don't you give up. Don't you give up. Don't you give up. Keep hanging in there. We are almost done. And if by chance you're watching us now and we end, guys, if you keep clicking like, I want you to go on a click like campaign. Go back through the videos that you have watched. If you have not clicked like, please do that. Tell somebody about our Read Through the Bible series. And if you do that, we can get up the algorithm. More people will know about this. More people can read the word, and some will even hear it by mistake. Okay. But also, when we're done reading through it here, if we can get the algorithm up, we can get a lot of you joining and whatnot. I can go live and we can keep replaying the Read Through the Bible, as well as you get a chance to watch some of the new videos that we are filtering out even as we speak. New videos are coming out each and every time. So just know that the Word of God is a lamp unto our feet. It is a light unto our path. We will hide God's Word in our hearts that we may not sin against God. You take care, and I will see you tomorrow, God willing. Bye. Hey there, thank you so much for checking out my video, and I want you to check out my website at ToniHenderson-Mayers.com. You can find out about me in film and stage. You can also find out about the wise courtship philosophy and everything that I do speaking across the country and the book that I've written. And of course, you can go on to my online store where you can learn a lot of information about business, get coaching sessions, online courses, and so much more. Not only that, I have an Etsy store, which the website of all of these things are in my description. So make sure you go to my Etsy shop, which is called Faith, Hope, and Love Center. Make sure you go to that so you can get t-shirts, and I'm adding things every day, t-shirts, mugs, masks, all types of things, into the link that's going to take you to all of the books that we're using pretty much in our Read Through the Bible series. So here are the journals. This reflection journal is so that you can write and take notes. And this one has a lot of study information and will help you keep organized as you're studying the Bible. This is the Bible that I read from, the NIV Study Bible. Of course, Wise Courtship is here, and some of the other books that I wrote. Yes, God is Real, and also I Rise, Stories of Triumph. It's just a great encouragement tool. So walk on over to the stores and give us some support. I think you're going to be blessed by the products. Take care.